In November 2020, Soares' son has symptoms of COVID-19.
I couldn't breathe. I started feeling more and more sick, and I asked my family to take me to the hospital.
That's when they diagnosed him with COVID, and 60% of his lungs were compromised. And so they admitted him to the hospital, and the doctor called me saying he needed to be connected to a breathing machine because he was already having a lot of trouble.
After that, I woke up after 47 days.
But his lungs weren't responding. The other procedure they did then was prone positioning. The doctors explained it to me, and after that he started responding. The doctors thought they could stop his sedation and take him off of the machine, but he couldn't stand it. So he had to go back on the breathing machine again on early Saturday. And then they sedated him again. He receded immensely. He became very, very ill. Then there was one night the doctor called us to say that he needed to go through some kind of surgery, an emergency surgery, because they thought that maybe his intestines were necrotizing. So they removed 1.5 meters of them. And during this surgery, they had to remove his intestines because of the necrosis. The doctors noticed that other parts were also starting to necrotize. Within 72 hours, he would have to undergo another surgery, and then he would be evaluated for a colostomy. And I was like, my goodness, before this surgery, I'll ask the Lord to intercede. We went there and kept interceding. I remember around 11 o'clock, we were given the news that they had cut him open, and for their surprise, his intestines were pink, and I mean completely normal. He didn't need to have the colostomy bag then. They closed him up. His situation was very serious, and to make things even worse, there was some kind of bad bacteria that infected him. It was antibiotic resistant, you know. The doctors called us, then they called the family and told us there was nothing else they could do. His heart was no longer working properly, his kidneys stopped working too, he was in complete failure. At that moment, the doctors explained he would probably die. He had certainly septicemia. I came home and I started to watch the faith show, and then Dr. Soares said, the person who is now in the ICU, take some of this anointed water and give some drops of it to them. I took the anointed water and I spread it on his lips, and when I left the hospital, I had a total certainty in my heart that God was working in his body, that God's power was working, and from then on, the anointed blessed water, we started noticing little by little evolution. His kidneys started working again. Then they said the diuresis started going away. His heart started working better. And gradually he was getting better. So we started to thank God. Over and over, he was breathing on his own. After 42 days in the ICU, he went to a room and he stayed in the hospital 84 days in total.
I came back home in a wheelchair. I went to church many times in a wheelchair. I would watch Dr. Soares praying and having faith in the anointed water. It took me about 2 months to leave that wheelchair. And after that wheelchair, I started using a walking device until finally one day, I also stopped using the walking device.
He's doing great now, thank God. We see that if it weren't for Jesus, he wouldn't be here. Only the power of God healed him.
I can walk, I can drive.
Today, my husband is 100% well. He recovered all body movements.
Even the doctors admitted that my situation was a real serious situation, and I recovered from it very well.
Thank God we are sponsors, especially because we see how important it is. Because considering everything that happened, it mattered so much for us to keep watching the faith shows. Today, all we can do is thank the Lord. We thank the ministry of the Grace of God Church. We are proof that the Word is truly true, and we can stand firm on it.
God really exists, and we have to have faith.